Good afternoon. I'm back. I told you I would be. If you're here on the replay and have any questions, you can always reach me through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at CreativLEI. Hello, ladies. It's been a long time since I've done a full-on art scope aside from the lettering instructions. Hi, girls. Hi, Kim. Hi. Heads up, 7-Up. Why do I have a hard time? Are you Monica? You've got to all help me remember your names because I do like addressing you by your names. Hey, Tumbo. Welcome in. It's good to see you all. Christy, you and I have been chatting lots. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. Awesome. So I'm here. This is Lisa from CreativLEI, looking at life creatively. And a friend of mine is opening up a shop locally called Cultivated. And she has asked me if I would like to have some of my canvases featured in the shop, which of course I do. So I'm going to be getting to work today to get those prepped because it's, of course, been a crazy month and I did not have time to do those earlier. So I've got the tripod set up. I am going to flip the camera, put you guys in there. Today I'm painting the canvases. If they're all dry later tonight, I'll be lettering them with some quotes. Probably I'll do a couple with verses also. Hey, Raina. Yeah, so I've got 3 8x8 canvases in front of me right now, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. So bear with me while I get it up in the tripod. It's been a while since I've done a tripod scope. Hey, Cricket. I've got my palette ready, and I'll be working on the backgrounds. Andrew, I'm going to need you to get off the iPod so I can put it in front of me so I can see comments. So how's that? I've got the fisheye lens on so that hopefully you guys can watch. It's my little setup here on the desk. I've got my background here is actually bulletin board paper. I like to use it as my underpaper. Trim Healthy Mama Soup. Ooh, which one are you making, Kim? I like to use the bulletin board paper as my underpaper because then any of the painting, usually, ooh, mushroom sounds delicious. The painting and things like that I can use for little bits of art things for journaling and stuff later on. So I'm going to get the iPad set up too so that I can see your comments because all of those of you that know me in real life know I'm a shorty and I cannot see the phone when it's in the tripod. So I'm going to get this set up so that I can watch my own scope to get the comments. Alright, so I'm going to get that over here. I know this is like weird. Alright, but at least then I can see what you guys are saying while I'm painting. So I've got 2 different color palettes that I've set up. I'm going to work with the blues and then I'm going to also work with the corals. Let's see, pardon me, I'm just adjusting since I can now see what you guys are seeing and hopefully we've got a good view of everything. So for my backgrounds for these canvases, I just do a very swirled and abstract background. So there's nothing sketched out. It's all just very whimsical. You love the color palette? Yeah, these were really popular color palettes when I've done them before. So I kind of, you know, I listen to you guys. What you like to see is what I like to do. So I work in acrylic crafts paint, and then when the backgrounds are all complete, they do get spray painted with a thick coat acrylic spray to prevent fading from the sun and to protect them from dust so they can be wiped clean. So has anyone else played with acrylic paint on canvas before? I sometimes use these same techniques on watercolor or Bristol paper. And I like to get the canvases that are wrapped around the back. That way I can paint over the edges and then these can be hung without requiring a frame because it's actually complete all the way around. What are you doing? Only with preschoolers? Yeah, that is a different type of painting. They'll keep you busy. We have some canvases that are hung in our hallway from our oldest 3 children when they were little. I've not tried them as watercolor on the canvas, Tombo. I do use them all the time with the blending palette. So yes, I will scope when I letter on these. But it'll take a little while because I like to make sure that this background is nice and completely dry. I do paint over used canvases. Actually, that used to give my parents heartburn when I was growing up because what I would do is I would make a painting and they would love it, but I wouldn't. And so rather than sign the painting, I would gesso over it and use it for something else. And they could not understand why I would do that and why I wouldn't just let the art be art. But unfortunately, that was a bit of my perfectionist tendencies, and I would not sign something that I didn't feel was completely done. So, but they always had paintings on their walls, so there really wasn't much that they were complaining about.
Still do.
Yeah, they do still have my paintings on their walls. When we go visit, my kids like to double check with me, like, hey, did you make this one? Did you make this one? So how has your day been? You can't do that. I've got busy little fingers next to me that wants to type on the iPad. Those of you that are following along the Love Your Lettering, hopefully you've gotten today's post by now. It did get published, so hopefully that's gone out to you. And I do intend to demonstrate that tonight or later this evening. Organizing the kitchen. Do I like to use markers on the canvases? Actually, I do. I tend to use alcohol-based markers when I'm working on canvas. You can see the hearts. I do like to use the markers when I'm doing the brush lettering, but if I don't have the color that I want on the alcohol marker, I will use a regular paintbrush with the paint, but I will be a little more careful about kind of stenciling in my words by hand first. Like sometimes I'll use chalk to make the guidelines of the words I'm going to write, and then I will use the brush to paint right over that. But the markers make it much easier and faster. So actually Tombo, who was in here, my Fudonosuke brush pens, and I probably pronounced that wrong, and maybe they can correct my phonetical pronunciation there. They are my go-to brush pens when I'm writing, because they are very good and reactive with the pressure I use. Oh, good. I did get it right. I wasn't sure. I'm always hesitant. I'll type it like nobody's business, but I was always afraid I was pronouncing it wrong. But they're nice and reactive, and they do dry fairly quick so that I don't have to worry, because as you can see, I am left-handed. So I do worry about things that don't dry fast enough getting smeared while I work. There is a printable piece on my site that was one of the first mixed media, and it's kind of a basic mixed media that I did fairly recently, the one with the umbrella. The umbrella is actually antique paper that I found locally. That was from a thrift shop. Well, not really a thrift shop, kind of an antique shop nearby. How am I able to do all this stuff with 6 kids? Actually, 3 of my children are in public school this year, which frees up an awful lot of time. And then the other thing is that, unfortunately, to work on some of this stuff, other things sit and wait. So there are probably dishes in my sink right now. So there's that. I am not a great housekeeper. I am working on some of those habits. But we realized fairly early on in our marriage that I needed to have my creative outlets. When it goes too long between creating things, there's a sense of frustration that builds up in me, and it does not bode well for all of us in the household. So we kind of make it work how we need to in order to get that done. Alright, so there's kind of the basics of how I want this, but now I will go in and add some more strokes, because I like to add different swirls and things. So I'll switch brushes. So this is a round brush, number 4. The one I used previously was a flat brush that was 3/4 inch. Oh, thank you, Christy. So, and I just can't really see the palette in with the canvas, but I do just mix the paints kind of loosely. I'm not really looking to blend them fully because I do want them to keep some of their characteristics. Oh, that's good. It is fun to get to chat while I'm painting for me. So I'm glad that you guys enjoy it too. Yeah, I do like my happy little swirls. There's my nod to Bob Ross, the ultimate on-screen painter. When I was learning how to paint in high school, when I took art lessons, and I did study art in school as well, I never considered myself a very abstract painter. I painted from realism, so I would set up the still life and kind of go from there. And it wasn't until my adult life that I could capture kind of more whimsical designs. And so now it's fun to kind of embrace that change. So I've got my cups of water off to the side when you see me kind of going off to the side here. Keep my brushes clean so that they're ready for the next color or step. So now I've got a smaller flat brush. Thank you. I've got a smaller flat brush that I'm going to add some more details in with. Do I paint with glitter? I haven't. I do paint with metallic paints. I'm going to be putting some silver on this one.